signing, even though I'm not as high on Aaron Jones. And you're going to notice that in that entire laundry list of players that I listed in terms of a free agency recap of day one, you probably notice, well, where are all those New England Patriots signings? And that's because I was saving it for its own separate segment, because the Patriots, let's just say Bill Belichick got pretty much every single bit of his stimulus check in the mail, and he's cashing out. The Patriots are going on an absolute spending spree, something that Bill Belichick hasn't done in at least 10 years as front office man for the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have spent more money this offseason alone than they've spent in the last 10 years. Now, that's just a mind-blowing stat to think about. Bill Belichick, his niche and his speciality was always being able to turn other teams' trash into the Patriots' treasure. It was the small pickups here or there that the Patriots had to fill gaps that Bill Belichick, and his genius as a football coach, was able to coach that player into becoming exactly what they needed. That was Bill Belichick's game for the past 10 years. And then Tom Brady leaves, and he goes and wins the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, and Bill's just like, well, crap. I guess I need to start spending some money, and spend some money that they did. As of today, the recording of this video, March 16th, the Patriots have already signed, and I have a gigantic list here, so stay with me. Matt Judon, 4 years, $56 million. Devon Godshaw, 2 years, $16 million. Re-signed Deatrick Wise Jr., 4 years, $22 million. Signed Jonnu Smith, 4 years, $50 million. Hunter Henry, 3 years, $37.5 million. And with those last two signings, the Patriots have two of the top 5 highest paid tight ends in the league. Nelson Aguilar, 2 years, $22 million. Jalen Mills, coming over from the Eagles, safety, 4 years, $24 million. Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver, 3 years, $15 million. Re-signed Cam Newton, which we knew. Traded for Trent Brown from Las Vegas. Traded for Marcus Cannon from Houston. And that's just day one. That's just day one in addition to the 48 hours leading up to that. And Bill probably isn't done. The Patriots have some cap space to work with. They have the ability to go after more players if they want to. And I have a couple of takeaways here. Some people are saying this has nothing to do with Brady. This is just Bill realizing that he's deep in the hole and the team woefully underperformed last season. And I can't see how this doesn't have something to do with Tom Brady. I mean, you lose your greatest of all time quarterback. You're stubborn. You're saying, well, we'll be fine without him. We have the pieces that we need. Or even if you don't have the pieces you need, Bill Belichick, or at least the rumors were that Bill Belichick wanted to move on from Tom Brady for years and years and years. And while that point and that rumor will be debated forever, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady obviously were not together this year, and it was very clear who came out on the losing side of that. It was very clear that Belichick was the losing party in this divorce, and Bill is big mad. Bill... It's absolutely the glow up of the 2021 NFL football season. You get dumped by your ex and you say, I am going to go work out at the gym. I am going to eat healthy. I am going to buy all these nice clothes and I'm going to go get somebody new. And I don't need you kind of stuff. Bill Belichick got his stimulus check and he's using that on doing a glow up for the New England Patriots. And at this point in time, based on the moves that he's made already, it looks like he is more or less sold on Cam Newton being the starting quarterback for at least a couple of seasons. Looks like Bill is acknowledging, hey, look, Cam, I'm sorry I didn't give you the weapons that you needed last season. I'm going to do my best to give you the weapons that you can use this season, and then we'll go from there. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not the Patriots try and take a quarterback in either the first round or the first couple of rounds. I think it would be a mistake to get a quarterback in the first round. I did a front office frenzy segment on the Patriots, and I think it would be very smart to get a wide receiver Because sure, I mean, signing Nelson Aguilar helps. Nelson Aguilar is a criminally underrated wide receiver, but he's more of a number 2 guy. The Patriots still don't have that number 1 wide receiver. N'Keal Harry is a bust. Jacoby Myers is a great piece, but he hasn't developed quite that much yet into being that number 1 spot, or being in that number 1 slot. So the Patriots still need a number 1 wide receiver. I would like to see somebody like Jalen Waddle go to the Patriots. I've thrown that name out for a couple of teams, but I think Waddle in a New England jersey could be very scary. A true number 1 wide receiver, potentially better than Devonta Smith, depending on what grading scale you listen to and which mock draft you like reading. So Cam Newton is going to have wide receivers, especially if you draft a wide receiver in the draft with your first round pick. And another thing is that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. The signing of Jonnu Smith, I thought by itself was a great signing for New England. I knew Bill loved his tight ends, but the signing of Hunter Henry surprised me. I didn't think that they were going to sign 2 tight ends like that at that price point. And really, it's vindicative, and it points to the fact that you can't teach Bill new tricks most of the time. He is very, very sold on the idea of having a lot of the offense come through 2 tight ends. And essentially, Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry are the 2021 versions of Gronkowski and Hernandez. Belichick has always favored the 2 tight end system, and this is the most recent and updated version of it. Are they going to be as good as Gronk and Hernandez? Probably not, but even before Gronk and Hernandez, Bill liked the 2 tight end approach, and it fit his offense. And look, it's got to be said, if Cam Newton can reproduce what he had with Greg Olsen back in Carolina, this could be a pretty beneficial relationship. Now, I don't think Cam Newton is anywhere near the type of player that he was in Carolina. I think Cam Newton has confidence issues. It's a weird combination between having way too much swagger and no confidence at all in your passing ability and your ability to lead a football team. Cam Newton, for me, is a weird combination of the mental aspect of football right now. I feel like he's not confident. I feel like he didn't have the confidence to be able to lead the football team last season, but he kept his Cam Newton swagger and his attitude. Weird position and kind of a little bit of a side tangent there, but hey, if you can pair the best tight end, or what many consider to be the best tight end, or one of the top 3 tight ends in the league in Jonnu Smith, with Cam Newton, and he can produce, in addition to having Hunter Henry, who had his best season with Justin Herbert in Los Angeles last season, you are giving Cam Newton pretty much everything that he needs to succeed. If anything, the offensive moves, not only adding Aguilar, but adding, what was his name? Adding Kendrick Bourne. So you're adding Smith, you're adding Henry, you're adding Aguilar, you're adding Bourne, and you are more than likely, if I am Bill Belichick, you're adding more offensive pieces in the draft. All the pressure is on Cam Newton right now to be able to perform like Cam Newton was supposed to perform and is expected of him to perform. If he's even remotely close to MVP caliber Cam Newton, the Patriots are going to be a scary, scary team to play against next season, and the Buffalo Bills' reign on top of the AFC East could be very much short-lived. But apart from that, Matthew Judon is an okay signing. I think really Bill Belichick here is acknowledging that Donta Hightower is getting a little bit older. He's going to need some help in the linebacking core. Devon Gottschalk played for the Dolphins. He is I don't necessarily want to say a depth player, but he has some inconsistent play at times. He can be good, but he's more likely than not a rotational piece in that defensive line, especially with Belichick re-signing Deatrick Wise Jr., who was probably one of the more prominent pass rushers in New England last season. So, the Patriots and their spending spree, they've done a lot of good work here, and they're going to be a team to be reckoned with if Cam performs anything like he did in his better days in Carolina. The pressure with this is on Cam Newton now. Bill is getting his defense back. He went on the spending spree and he said, I've got you. Let me buy you all this stuff. Let's trick this thing out and see what we can do with it. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not these signings by the Patriots end up playing out. And who knows? Again, this is day one, and that's the mind-blowing thing, is that the Patriots have spent a full offseason's worth of free agency money in one day, and Bill might not be finished. That's a scary thought to think about. The Patriots are reloading. They're going from like a double barrel shotgun to like a fully automatic 12 gauge. They are reloading and they're re-upping, and they could be a scary, scary team to deal with this next season. Keep in mind, for whoever is the next quarterback to play for Bill Belichick, don't run off with another team and win a Super Bowl, because he is going to wreak havoc on the entire league. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard Headed Sports Podcast. You've heard what I've had to say, now I'm interested to hear what you think as well. If you enjoyed this highlight from the show and want to watch more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full-length entirety, you should follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.